Thank you so much for being here with me. My name is Belinda Dubston, and it is our weekly I Ching forecast for the week commencing the 20th of October, 2025. As always, we dip into last week and reflect and learn from what the I Ching was trying to get our attention on last week. We had Hexagram 29, the abysmal, the water pumping down, that challenging, changing line, asking us, hold back, this is too much, pull back, contain, say no, okay, be very careful around what you say attention to. Don't let that genie out of the lamp unless absolutely necessary. Way bigger than we can handle. And of course, we had Hexagram 48, the well, that beautiful structure that we can build and deepen and refine to allow us to access the infinite supply. Okay, taking this rushing wild water in the first hexagram and being discerning around what we say yes to, what we pull back from, and allowing us then to focus the well, focus the structure, the network, the support systems, the methodology, whatever the structure is that it's connecting you to, allowing us to master that and get access to the infinite supply, the wishing well that keeps on giving. Okay, if there was anything that came up for you last week in working with flow, with the genie in your lamp, okay, or the wishes in the well, please do share a comment. All right, this week, let's get into what is the I Ching asking us to pay attention to. And it is a locked hexagram this week, which means there were no changing lines. There's no second hexagram. There's just one particular thing we're being asked to pay attention to. I often see this as a doubling down of the energy of the week. It's almost like a super focus. There isn't always other things happening, lots of momentum. The I Ching is just wanting us to really pay attention to this one important thing. Okay. And so this week, our locked hexagram is hexagram 17 following. This is a wonderful hexagram. Okay, we have lake on the top, which is joy, okay, communication and expression. We have thunder underneath, the bottom trigram, which is movement and energy upwards. They both move upwards, okay. And so we have joy in following, right? The movement follows the upward movement of joy. And so this hexagram has two key things it tries to help us develop in our consciousness, okay. The one is how to build a following, how to get others to magnetically follow behind what we're trying to do. Following is not the idea of coercing people, right? As a leader, when we have this hexagram, the leadership style of following is we set an example, we set a mission that's important to people, right? We have a lodestar that we set, we have a place that we're going to, and it connects meaningfully to the people around us and allows us to move them forward with us. Okay, we create the following. People want to get up, they want to get on board, they want to assist, they want to mobilize, and they follow what it is that we are setting as our goal. Okay, this is a beautiful hexagram when we're working with teams or people, perhaps if you are the leader of your family, wherever you find yourself in a leadership position, is to hold that space, hold that lodestar, hold that goal, that direction, communicate it, express it, and let it reverberate around the people who are your people. Okay, not everyone is our people. Even if they're in our environment, doesn't mean they resonate. And so when we put that call out and we let that call go out, we create resonance and following with people who feel a connection to it. Okay, so that's part of this week. We create the vision, we communicate the vision, we connect and we support those who are on board. Okay, not through coercion, but a willing energy of following something important. If we are finding that we're not getting the following, we need to rethink where we are headed. What is the picture that we are creating for people? What is the vision that we have communicated, that we hold? Not a vision that's on paper, sounds amazing, but one that is true and authentic. All right. Second part, in order to be a great leader, you need to be a great follower. Okay. It's this thing of we're all connected. We are all connected through this kind of stretchy band of energy. And in order for us to pull people forward, to let them follow us, to incentivize them to follow us. They need to have on the other side of you an elastic band that's also pulling you forward to something that's meaningful for you. So to lead, you have to follow. Okay. What are you following? What is your personal lodestar? And what this hexagram calls us to do is that when we have great power is able to humble itself to a small power that's meaningful, or a great power that's meaningful, that you're able to put your ego behind the thing that's more important. Okay. Very, very easy to say and very difficult to do. It means that we have to accept that we are not the top of the wood pile. Again, we're not top of the food chain. There's another process, there's another flow that we are following, something that is meaningful. And this could be, for example, your spiritual belief systems. You've met someone who acts as if they are God. Okay, you've all met someone who actually has no higher authority that internally, spiritually, they're reporting to in any way, shape, or form. It's quite something to experience, and we've all seen it. But we need to have that higher authority. So whether that is your spiritual higher authority or your work higher authority or your family higher authority, what is the hierarchy? Okay, what is the thing that you are plugged into that is calling you forward, that you follow? And I know immediately I say the word hierarchy, I've lost a whole lot of people because there's a rebellion against the idea of structure. But that's what we're talking about. This, what are we following? In order to lead, we need to serve. In order to have followers, we need to follow. There's this interconnected band of energy that as one's pulling, the other one's pulling. And so it creates this movement, this expansion. So I would say this week we're going to be challenged, because it's a very nice hexagram. So the word challenged might not be appropriate, but we are always going to be challenged to grow. That we're going to be motivated, maybe a better word, to rethink what we're following, all right? What we're putting out there for others to follow, and to reframe and to rethink and to deepen down on the meaningful purpose of the moment. What is the meaningful purpose of what you're doing as a family? What is the meaningful purpose of your travel together or your plans for the future? What is the meaningful purpose in your friendship circle, of your hobbies, of the things that you have personal aspirations for? What is the meaningful purpose in your workplace, in your team, in your company? And how can you be a great leader in this moment? This week, where can you really step into a higher level of leadership because you have something you follow, something that's really meaningful to you, and therefore you are able to set something, a lodestar, for others around you to follow, even if that is you being an example. When people see that you can do it, that you have it, that you've walked the walk, it immediately allows people to know that they can too. Short and sweet this week with a locked hexagram. We are following, we are being followed, and we are being challenged to rethink what it is we're following and what we are putting out for others to follow. If you found this valuable, please always thumbs up and a like are always greatly appreciated, or share to someone who needs to follow or be followed. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe and the bell or the follow button on the podcast. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week for our last weekly forecast for October. Can you believe it? We are barreling through. Until then, take care.